Good morning, YouTube family. How we feeling? So, family, I told you guys in like a long time ago videos, okay, that one of my good movies that I like to watch, especially when it comes to the English language, is Aquila and the Bee. Because in Aquila and the Bee, they gave you important vocabulary lessons. Like, I know that's so first grade, but it was a really good movie in terms of English and vocabulary, because in that movie you learned that a lot of our English language is derived from Latin, right? And what does that mean? Like so basically, I was looking into complaining, right? I was like complaining, right? And calm, COM, is a word derived from Latin, which just means coming together, right? And I was just kind of like, okay, calm, like, and like complaining. It's like coming together, like, cause like words are spells, and so when you guys complain, that to me is like calm, the Latin word, coming together with bad, coming together, coming in agreement with a foul situation, right? Like I just feel, I was just like, yeah, there is no complaining. There is no coming together, coming in agreement with a foul situation, with a loser situation, right? Like, one thing I learned on my spiritual journey, right, is when you complaining, right, coming together, you gonna come together with other complainers. You gonna come together with other energies that are on that vibration, right? Just entering a house of complainers. And that's one thing I realized, like, you guys don't have to worry about people putting witchcraft on you, spell work, speaking bad, because once people speak bad, they enter the house of bad speakers, right? Of the foul mouths, right? Once people start doing spells, they enter the house of spells. And how, like, a spiritual leader, like, she once told me, a spiritual leader once told me, she was like, when people do spell work on you, you can pretty much envision all of those people doing spell work holding hands, right? And all that spell work just bouncing off each other in that circle. And to me, I see it like them holding hands, like them all coming into agreement with each other, like them all entering a house. When you are a complainer, you're entering the house of complainers, and the energy bouncing off everyone in the house isn't good, right? One of y'all bound to get hit by something else to complain about. And that's how I feel about people who do spells. Y'all all holding hands, doing spells on people, thinking it's really working, but you're just holding hands with other people doing spells, all coming into agreement. Y'all just in a circle holding hands, right? And all those spells bouncing off of y'all. And you thinking it's really hitting or affecting a circle of people who came together under God, right? Like, when you come together with God, you enter that house. When you come together with complaining and losers, you enter that house. When you on that witchcraft stuff, you enter that house. Like, if you on tarot, you enter that house. And like, you can, like, it doesn't mean like you just enter in the house and just you in there, right? There could be levels. Like, if you in a tarot house, the bottom pit is people who just like are believing in their own magic and just like, not that some tarot readers don't have that actual magic. I'm telling you, there's just levels, right? Like, you could just think of the bottom level, people who might want to deviate into witchcraft, but they just staking with the tarot. They're just really dark in their thought, so they're in the basement. The middle level tarot readers or tarot watchers, sorry, they just looking out the window, scared, don't want to go outside unless they know the next big answer from a tarot reader, right? You got those middle level people, just kind of giving schizo, right? And then you got the top level, you go up the stairs. You got the people who just watch it just occasionally, but they're just but they're just in the house, right? Essentially, that's what you guys want to watch out for. Which houses you're going into spiritually, what hands you're holding spiritually, and what covenants you're coming into agreement when y'all do stuff, when y'all complaining, when y'all a hater, when y'all do witchcraft, when you think bad about people. When you think about bad about people, big facts, like, and this is how I envisioned it. Like, when y'all be thinking bad about people and you a hater, you're just going into a house of other haters. God's not going to allow you to go into the house of good beauty and beyond. Man, please. Rejected, 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 right? You got to go to the house of the witchcraft or the haters, right? And all I just see is just people like, off Sleeping Beauty, when they were just doing magic on each other, or not magic on each other, but on the dress, right? They all couldn't come to agreements. They all just switching this dress to blue, pink, blue, pink. And then accidentally, the magic turned one of the ladies pink, right? And she's purple or blue, right? The magic eventually went off from the dress to each other, right? And that's what I see when people be hating on each other. Like if you don't come into agreements with that type of you just gonna see people holding hands or entering houses of other haters, right? And you just gonna get to watch that house fall down, right? Or you just gonna watch pink and blue dust out the chimney, right? Like when you don't come into agreements with haters, you just get to watch that, right? But when you be hating and you be thinking bad about people, you just holding hands with other haters, those thoughts just going against y'all in a circle, right? Or y'all coming into a house full of haters. You don't get to enter into anything good when God knows your heart, right? Because God knows, like I know, there's a lot of beautiful women. There's a lot of beautiful men. There's a lot of smart men. You just one of them. You gonna be just one of them, right? And if God knows your heart and he sees that you still intimidated by others' greatness, you still think you're the only one, right? You know what I mean? He's gonna sit you down. You might have entered a house of haters and jumped back out. You never know, right? Like I feel like and the reason why I really wanted to say this is because like that's why for real I don't be worried about y'all hating, sad, mad, because I know ultimately if you would come into agreements, right? Calm Latin community, you come into agreements with freaking loser mentality, loser victim mentality, loser, you just enter in that house. I'm not worried about you because I know exactly where you gonna be. You gonna be holding hands with other losers. You gonna be holding hands with other haters, sad people. You gonna be looking for other sad people and like, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to be worried too much about haters. They are entering the hater house. You just gonna see pink and blue dust entering from their chimney, coming out from the chimney, right? Right? A lot of times when you stay away from the madness, right? You just get to see that pink and blue dust. You just get to see the drama, right? Like God told me, he told the Bible, but when you just get a different message, right? That there is a message in the Bible. It says, fearing God is wisdom, and staying away from evil and evildoers is understanding, right? And I was like, that is so smart, because if you break that down backwards, right? Like staying away from y'all is understanding I need to stay away from the haters, the losers, because y'all is holding hands with haters and losers, and that magic and that hater dust is just sprinkling in between y'all in the house. I'm just seeing pink and blue dust. To stay away from that, right, is understanding, and then tracking it backwards, fearing God is wisdom, because God, he separates y'all. If you ain't on that drama, if you ain't on that weirdness, and he's reading your heart, he's separating it. And to fear him, because that chaos is with them. If he got to humble them, if he has to do anything, it's with them. He don't want you a part of that. So to fear God is wisdom, and to stay away from evil, that pink and blue dust, is understanding. Understand, because God is humbling them. You don't want to be a part of that. And you fear God because you know he's so real. You know he's going to be humbling people. You know that until they get that figured out, it is going to be chaotic. So, right? You feel me? To fear God is wisdom. And then to stay away from that pink and blue dust is understanding. Right? That's understanding why you should fear God, because he is going to humble who he has to. He's going to make the haters join hands all in a circle, and they can throw hater dust in that circle all they want to. But you stay away from that. That hater stuff, that weird stuff, all the angry people holding hands, all the depressed people holding hands, all the sad people holding hands, right? They're entering these houses, right? Until they figure this out and just realize, okay, I don't feel like being part of the circle. Yeah, you just hold hands with this person right there, and I just was never part of this, right? Until you realize you holding hands with other depressed people, until you realize you're just in a circle with other sad people, until you realize you in a circle with other haters, right? You're not gonna realize that, okay, let me just take your hand, and I was never part of this. God forgive me. I repent for being a part of this hater circle. You just, yep, right? Until you realize you in the hater house, you ain't ever gonna get out and close the door and never look back, right? Until you realize God don't bless these houses, these circles, right? You're never gonna realize you gotta wake up and get up out of that. Like, oh, sadness, victimhood, you just gonna be holding hands with other victims, watching videos about other victims, right? Until you realize, oh, I'm in a circle with y'all. Let me just take your hand, right? Until you realize you holding hands with other abused victims, right? Take your hand, right? I'm living my life like it's golden, and then you gonna be connecting hands, and God gonna make sure you connecting hands with other winners. You entering houses of winners. God gonna make sure you enter in those houses as soon as you close those doors, the sad doors, the hater doors, right? You stop coming into communion. You stop complaining about. You realize you just holding hands with other complainers, right? Just in a freaking circle, holding other haters' hands. Yeah, right? You gonna have to grab that other person's hand, and close that circle tighter. I don't care how big, and that's what's crazy, is the hater circle can be small, it can be big. You just gotta make sure your hands ain't in it. That hater circle, really, I don't care. That sad circle, that depressed circle, that witchcraft circle, right? Those circles can be small or big, it don't matter as long as your hands ain't in it. As long as you ain't tied in it, and like, right? Because if you holding hands with other magic witchcraft people, right? You don't know you holding hands with other witchcraft people. You just making a circle. You don't know that eventually that witchcraft and those spells eventually could hit you, right? Like, that was Sleeping Beauty. They were targeting the dress, but eventually the other girl got struck and she was turned blue. The other girl's turned pink, right? Eventually the dress was non-existent. They were just throwing magic at each other. That's what people do when they hold hands with other whatever, warlocks and witches. Witchcraft, right? that witchcraft might eventually hit you because you just in that circle. That sadness might eventually hit you because you in the sad circle. That depression is going to deepen because you in the depressed circle, right? That's eventually what I was trying to say. I feel like I got off on the rocky start, but we eventually got here 12 minutes later, all right? But for real, watch what circles you're entering, y'all. Okay, my hair. Watch what circles you're entering. You want to enter the winner circle, okay? The winner circle. You want to be holding hands with rich people, right? Come on now. Now everyone mad at this one black girl on the talk of the age of disclosure because she was just like, I don't know how I got on poor TikTok. I don't know how. I'm usually on rich TikTok, and she said that quiet part out loud. Bitch, you ain't supposed to say that out loud. You gonna make people who ain't working, right? Like with God, like not. I don't know how to explain what I was about to say, but it's just as like when people are set on holding hands with other victims, you gonna make those victims sad. When people are invested in holding hands with other brokies, you gonna make those brokies mad, right? They're too invested in holding hands and want to hear your sad story about being broke, right? It will make them feel better because they're really invested on holding your hands tight because they want to stay in the circle. They're not invested on, oh, hold up. We're all a circle of brokies, not complaining. We were coming, okay, complaining, calm, Latin word, together. We're complaining into agreement. We're coming into agreement with this loser shit. We're bringing it out of our mouths. We're saying it. Not only are we thinking it, living it, we're saying it. So you're just in a circle in your head, connected circle of loserdom, not loserdom. Come on now. That broke mentality, because you won't, come on now. You holding hands with other people who are sad, who are going to keep you sad. And then until you realize you holding hands with people. And what Mike's situation said, he said he splashed his face in the water and he's surrounded by grenades. Like he woke up. Yo, we're surrounded by grenades. Until you wake up and realize you're surrounded by grenades, okay? You gonna keep holding hands with these grenades. Like situations just meant to blow up in your face, right? I know they're talking about ugly chicks, but for real, you gotta watch out for that. You gotta watch out for coming into agreements with other losers. If you mean to be better, if you mean to get more, People want to resonate, and they want to, like, what? Yeah, they want to hold hands. They want to stay in the circle, right? And people mad at the homegirl because she said the quiet part out loud. Like, I don't know how I got on broke TikTok. I don't know how we got here. And everyone's like tearing Shorty down, calling her fat, talking about her hair. That ain't $1,000. Like, what that got to do with you and why the fuck you're pissed? Don't you see how mad you is? You're mad. You think it's because she's ignoring the obvious fact that people are, and she's telling you can't get the iPhone, whatever, right? But we're here to deal with the fact that you're pissed, right? That's what I want to know. When I saw that video, I was just kind of like, okay, it's a little out of touch, you know, but I ain't pissed, right? Because I ain't joining circles with losers. I'm making sure that I'm in the winner's circle. I'm making sure me and God, I'm above his babies. I'm trying to be in the blessed circle. I'm trying to be in the circle with God's babies holding hands, where any second one of us gonna get blessed. One second y'all gonna be hit with witchcraft, whatever, right? But any circle, any day now, I'm gonna be in the circle with God and his babies, and we gonna be one of us. I'm bound to be hit with his blessing. Bound to be. I'm holding hands with the blessing. I'm holding hands with the babies, God's children, right? I'm watching whose hands I'm holding very carefully, right? So I wasn't pissed at Shorty's video. But if you ain't watching what hands you holding, you ain't watching how you complaining and coming into agreement with poverty, right? With lack, all right? You gonna be pissed when okay, even though it's out of touch, but not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone wants to come into agreement with that. You gonna be mad. Now she's fat. Now she's this. What that gotta do with you and why you really, really mad? Before the video. Let's talk about why you was really pissed before seeing the video. Let's talk about why you was really sad before seeing the video. All right? Let's talk about it. People come into agreement with stuff, and then when you sit and holding hands with losers, or sit and holding hands with people who ain't making money, sit and holding hands with people complaining, coming into agreement with poverty, you bound to be struck. Okay? Bound to be. You're in that circle, you're in that house. As soon as you start complaining, you're entering the house of complainers. As soon as you start hating, you're entering the house of complainers. You're holding hands with complainers in a circle. One of you bound to be struck. But you start getting with the money team, God, and you start holding hands with his babies, and they're just giving you good messages, putting into you, breaking curses consistently, okay? Holding hands with winners. One day you're bound to be struck by God's good grace, good luck, good mercy. One day you're bound to feel what God had for you, because you're watching whose hands you holding, right? Like, haters don't know, witchcraft people don't know, whatever. Witches and warlocks don't know, they're just holding hands with other warlocks. Witches don't know, they're just holding hands with other witches, coming into agreement with other witches, right? Your magic ain't touching me. I'm not holding your hand, stupid. Stupid. Haters, your comments don't affect me. I'm not holding your hand. I'm not in the hand of haters. I'm not sitting around thinking of comebacks all day. I'm not sitting around thinking of, oh, that's a good one, right? I'm not thinking of ways to be evil and mean. I'm not, right? So I'm not coming into agreement with y'all. One day you're going to wake up and realize that only you was holding hands with other losers. I wasn't in that. I was not a part of that. Okay, she wasn't there, right? She ain't holding haters' hands. Not like that, no. I don't come into agreement with what I don't want to see. So, I think that's all I wanted to say. Pretty much. Watch what you're coming into agreement with. Okay? Big facts. Like, that's what, no, for real. I love words. You know? And I didn't know that a lot of English words were derived from Latin either. Like, you know, like for prepare, pre, that's Latin. You know? Like a lot of our pre-pair, pre-notion, a lot of those first beginning letters are Latin, right? So yeah, calm. You break the community down into syllables. It's calm, C-O-M, not community, community. When you calm, C-O-M, calm, plane, you're coming into agreement. Latin word, I'm sorry, not to beat it, but you're coming into agreement with poverty. You're coming into agreement, which you obviously don't want to see in your life, right? Complaining, coming into agreement with loser. I ain't complaining, God. This is a good day to turn this around, and I know only you could do it. Oh, come on now. I'm waiting to see. I know you could. Oh, flex. Can't wait to see it. Flex on him. Flex on me. Show me how you get down, and he can't wait to show you. But he's very clear. He ain't throwing no pearls against swine. He's very clear on that. So until you get very clear on him, all right now, right? But anyways, family, I think that's it. Bye.